Joe Biden could use a wartime law to fight the coronavirus pandemic when he becomes president in 29 days. NBC News correspondent Heidi Przybyla exclusively reporting that Biden aides are talking about using the Defense Production Act to get vaccines out to the public. President Trump used that law to speed up testing and produce medical supplies. Heidi joins me now. Heidi, for our viewers who are not familiar with it, what is the Defense Production Act, and how seriously is the Biden team considering using it here?
Hey, Allison, that is a Korean War era Production Act law that was created to help the government compel manufacturers in the U.S. to produce things that are in our national interest, in our defense interests. And so the president-elect is looking at this as something that could possibly help us scale the vaccine production early in the new year. Here's the bottom line, Allison. We're being told that we're going to have this mass vaccination campaign in spring or summer. And yet I'm told by senior Biden aides that the supply just isn't there yet. Not that it's not going to be there yet, but it isn't there yet. And that we have these negotiations going on, for instance, with Pfizer. We have two different pharmaceutical companies, Johnson & Johnson and AstraZeneca, which are expecting critical trial data to come in right around the time that the president-elect is inaugurated. And that means at that time, he's going to have some options about what levers to pull in order to scale up as quickly as possible. Now, the big concern here is that we not do this in a way that favors one pharmaceutical company over another. That is not an easy issue to get past. But when we have more information in January, Allison, for instance, let's say Johnson & Johnson comes back. They have a really great vaccine. It can be given in one dose, effective, done. There may be some discussions about, do we ask a company like Merck, which has some of the specialized components that could help us scale, to jump in here? Do we have to use the Defense Production Act to do it? I could go on. This also applies, for instance, to syringes and needles, where we may have shortages. Again, getting to that herd immunity effect in the spring and summer.
Heidi, what do we know about the range of options the Biden administration has? Are they really aware of all of the options on the table? Or are they still trying to figure out exactly how they can handle it, whether it's the Defense Production Act or going another route?
So much, that's a great question. So much is going to depend on what comes back in this trial data and what it tells us about the efficacy of these other vaccines. And what's more, also Pfizer, right, is pushing for us to use the Defense Production Act now. That's going on right now. That's a Trump administration call, which could be made even before they get in.
Heidi, I want to ask you about your other exclusive report. House Democrats issuing subpoenas for CDC and HHS documents about the pandemic response. Congressman Jim Clyburn saying the documents show some political motives. What can you tell us about what they're looking into, about those subpoenas, and how the CDC and HHS are responding here?
Right, Allison, they've been trying to get documents going all the way back to September. And now that what they have gotten, they say, shows a pattern of attempted interference by Trump political officials. They say specifically that there was attempts to alter or stop 13 different scientific reports, a lot of them related to these morbidity and mortality analyses, which are meant to inform the public about the impact of coronavirus, but also going all the way back, for instance, to the issue of hydroxychloroquine and its efficacy. As you remember, that was a drug that the president was touting as a miracle drug, which wound up actually being ineffective and in some cases even harmful. So the congressman is looking for more information to try and establish whether this interference was an attempt to further a policy of herd immunity or whether it was simply to try and provide cover for a president who wanted to paper over how bad the coronavirus was really spreading in the U.S., Allison.
Heidi, a couple of great exclusive reports today and the best looking Christmas decorations we have had on News Now all week. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.